Greg Roman's always been known for his run the ball mentality. After all, he's earned the label run guru, but that mentality has changed. In his second year as the Chargers offensive coordinator, Greg Roman's play calling has shifted drastically from a run heavy identity to a pass preferred attack, unlocking Justin Herbert's full potential and taking this offense to new heights. But it's not even the fascinating part. It's the fact that this shift runs completely against everything Greg Roman's offensive history tells us. To really paint the full picture of this change and how significant it actually is, we need to go back to where the label Run Guru was born. While Greg Roman has a long coaching resume, his offensive coordinator career truly began when Justin Herbert hired him in San Francisco. And when people think of that 49ers offense, they remember one thing above all else. That was the read option game, but also included pistol formations and a relentless commitment to the run. This was a heavy ground attack, built on power, trap, and win concepts, designed to physically wear down defenses and control a game. That identity wasn't just a phase. It became the foundation of everything Greg Roman would build moving forward. When Roman arrived in Baltimore, that same foundation remained, but it evolved. The quarterback run game stopped being a situational tool, became a core principle of the offense. Most in usage exploded. What was once a complementary element became a weapon. It was used to stress defenses, see if it was man or zone coverage, and created a numbers advantages before the ball was even snapped. Roman's offenses were dynamic, physical, and uniquely difficult to prepare for. But there was a cost. When defenses forced obvious pass situations, especially high leverage moments, Greg Roman's offense struggled to consistently win from the pocket, and that's what showed up in the playoffs time and time again. It's what ultimately defined the ceiling of his past offenses, and that's exactly why what we're seeing now with the Chargers matters. Because for the first time in his career, Greg Roman isn't just evolving with his run-first identity, he's actively changing it. In his first year at the Chargers, the intention was clear. The run game became more physical. The offense leaned into structure, discipline, and foundational principles, but the results were rough. The rushing attack ranked near the bottom of the league, and the passing offense lacked explosiveness. Not only that, but the offense struggled to consistently threaten defenses vertically. It became this run on first and second down, but then let Herbert bail you out on third down, and it just wasn't working all the time. Buried beneath those results was something important. The play calling tendencies were already starting to shift. Even before the results improved, Greg Roman was calling plays differently. The run guru was slowly calling fewer runs in traditional passing situations. He was calling more pass plays. And once you look at the down by down tendencies, the personnel usage, and how the offense evolves from 2024 to 2025, it becomes clear. Greg Roman didn't stop being a run guru. He finally evolved this offense to the next level. Pairing the 2022 Ravens, 2024 Chargers, and the 2025 Chargers weeks 1 through 7, we see that on first downs, Greg Roman called pass plays at roughly 43% of the time to the Ravens and 42% of the time to the Chargers in 2024, but in 2025, he called pass plays at 54% of the time. That's a 10% increase on first downs. On second downs, we see another staggering shift. We're calling pass plays at 54% of the time in 2022, 62% of the time in 2024, with 74% of the time in 2025. That's a 20% increase from this time with the Ravens to 2025. Even on third down, we see a shift too, with the run guru calling pass plays at 60.1% in 2022, in 2024 at 66% of the time, in 2025, 69% on third down. We see this also in personnel usage. In 2022, we see the Ravens using 11 personnel at 12% of the time. That's last in the NFL. Chargers in 2024 used 11 personnel at 57% of the time. In 2025, 73% of the time. It's a polarizing increase of a guy whose offense was primarily using 12, 21, and 22 personnel. For the Ravens in 2022, they ran 12 personnel at 22% of the time. That's 7th most in the NFL, and 22.5% of the time in 21 personnel, ranking 4th in the NFL, 33.9% in 22 personnel, ranking 1st in the NFL. In contrast to the 2024 Chargers, they ran 12 personnel at 5.9%, that's last in the NFL, 16.5% in 21 personnel, 4th most, and 11.5% in 22 personnel, that's 2nd most. But in 2025, Greg Roman used 12 personnel at 7.5%, ranked 30th, 21 personnel at 12.9%, ranked 4th, and 22 personnel at 5.6% of the time, ranked 6th. The shift for 12 personnel is another staggering shift from his Ravens time. The bottom line is Greg Roman knew he needed to change something. He needed to take that next step while still staying true to what he does best. And to all our surprise, he tested out this new war plan in week 1 in 2025, but against the Chiefs. On the very first drive of the game for the Chargers, we see something totally unusual from this Chargers offense. The Chargers are not in a heavier personnel package. They're in 11 personnel, and that's an odd picture for the Chiefs to see. The Chiefs, on the other hand, were presenting a too high look that'll convert to a cover 3 variation once the ball is snapped. Herbert is not going to hand out the ball and instead drops back to pass. Now he passes up this out route that's clearly open, but that's because Herbert's going to take the ball for himself. And the Chiefs are not ready for Herbert, the ball carrier, putting a move on the defender and picking up a solid gain. But now the Chargers are back to normal with Justin Herbert under center, takes the snap and hands it off. Except he doesn't hand it off to Hampton, forcing Nick Bolton to slam on the brakes, but it's going to be too late. With Johnson sweeping under like it's a jet sweep and finding himself with some open grass. Herbert dumps it off to him, and Johnson uses his dynamism to not just get the first down, but zooms on by for a 33-yard gain. With the Chargers having the Chiefs on their heels, they don't slow down, going with another pass play, but setting up the defense of a little bit of motion from Disley and a little bit of play action. With Herbert stepping up, he avoids the edge rusher and delivers a nice ball to Ladd McConkey. This sets up 2nd and 1, where the Chargers will run the ball up the gut with Hampton, pulling the tight ends to make their way for the new powerful bruiser back. With first down in hand, they hit it again with another run play, but it's a toss play this time. This actually would have gone a lot further if Hampton cut upfield, but he did it way too late. This leaves us with 2nd and 7, using 11 personnel this time. The Chiefs will be running this cover 3 like variation once again. Herbert in the shotgun sets Allen in motion and takes a snap. He doesn't see anything he likes, though he could have thrown this to the first read or to Johnston, so Greg Roman did his part. Herbert instead tries to take off with Carl Loftus, sacking him for a 1-yard loss. Now it's 3rd and 8. It's pretty obvious the Chargers will have to pass here. We see it being 11 personnel again. Herbert in shotgun takes a snap with Carl Loftus being offside somehow. Herbert will be pressured right as he reaches the back of his drop back, so he moves up and tries to throw it to Conklin, and it's incomplete. But the penalty gives the Chargers another shot on 3rd down, with the penalty also giving them 5 yards, making it 3rd and 3. Still running 11 personnel, the Chargers are going to run a simple but nicely done man beater. Taking the snap, Herbert drops back a few yards, but meanwhile, Conklin's going to disrupt the linebacker Bolton, or rather Bolton does it to Conklin, and that leaves Hampton open for an easy touchdown. Now, Conklin, after getting knocked off the route on purpose or not, is also in position for a catch and run for a potential touchdown. The 23 getting distracted by Johnson going right in front of him, that leaves Conklin open. And through all that happening, Johnson is wide open in the end zone after McDuffie gets taken out by his own man, 23. That part wasn't schemed up, but Hampton and Conklin were. As simple as crossers and slants stretching out are, they work wonders against man coverage if your pass rush holds up. Herbert should have thrown this to Hampton or Conklin, honestly. As a side note, you just gotta take that when you see it. This game marked the beginning of Greg Roman's new pass offense. It was going really well until Joe Alt went down. Now, an important disclaimer is this. This analysis on the Chargers offense is based on weeks 1 through 7. And after week 7, the offense necessarily shifted back to the run. Why? Because the offensive line collapsed. Joe Alt went down. Rashawn Slater was already out for the year. The Chargers were already playing with 2nd string tackles, basically preseason level players. Pipkins, Becton, and Salier all missed time or played hurt. And at that point, a pass-centric offense simply wasn't going to be sustainable. You have to run more to survive. This new offense that Greg Roman started out with is the offense for the Chargers to come. I also think if Joe Alt was healthy, this would be a top 5 offense in the NFL, and it never would have shifted back. Still, the Chargers are 11-5 this year and still have faced many great pass rushing teams. Credit has to be given to Greg Roman for keeping it together, and Justin Herbert, who won't get MVP, but he kind of has a serious case based on the value he's bringing to the table. So the run guru can now call pass plays. But what about elite offensive mind that's been getting a lot of hate lately? That guy is Matt LaFleur. And the problem is his ego has been holding back the Packers from being a Super Bowl team. Check out the video here or the MVP race video there.